In the news this week,
I've made some tough decisions, but I'm also bringing vision and decisive action to the role of Premier.
Premier Roger Cook gave an exclusive interview and revealed his government's main priorities for 2024 as he marks 6 months into the top job.
Homes devastated as severe bushfires rip through Perth's hills, plus the true meaning of Christmas. Pastor Peter Abetz' message for this festive season, and Dr. Andrew Miller's comment.
This is the evening news with Ivan Leung and Paige Reid.
Good evening and Merry Christmas. In an exclusive interview with WAMA News, Premier Roger Cook unveils his top 4 priorities for Western Australia in 2024. During Candid Moments, Premier Cook reflects on whether he has met the public's expectations over the past 6 months. I also pressed him on the potential political showdown with Basil Zempilas if the Lord Mayor enters state politics. Roger Cook, thanks for your time.
Thanks very much for having me.
Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year, of course.
And to you and all your viewers.
Now, Christmas Eve is here. You've been in charge for, I think, just over 6 months now.
Yep.
How's it like to be Premier?
Well, obviously it's an incredible honour. I'm the 31st Premier of Western Australia. So it's an extraordinary honour to be part of that great legacy of premiers that have led this state. So I'm really aware of the responsibilities, but also the opportunity. And Western Australia has got a huge opportunity in its economic diversity and its future as a renewable energy powerhouse.
In a major media breakfast, you labelled that you're becoming from Robin to Batman. Now, the question is, has the new Batman lived up to the Gotham City's expectations?
Well, what I'll say is I've always been Robin. I'm the youngest of 7 kids.
But have you lived up to the expectations?
Well, look, I think Western Australians can see that I've made some tough decisions, but I'm also bringing vision and decisive action to the role of Premier. So I think people will be pleased with the first 6 months, and the team is working really well. We're a very united group, and we're focused on the issues which matter to people. So we're keeping the economy strong. We're making sure that we assist those who are doing it tough with the cost of living, but also continuing to put a lot of effort into the housing situation to make sure that we improve the level of housing and opportunity in Western Australia.
Aboriginal cultural land heritage laws and the voice. Is there something that you could do better in your view now, looking back?
Well, in relation to The Voice, that was a national campaign, so I was happy to support it as best as I could.
But the timing was inconvenient, though, isn't it?
Well, it was an important historic opportunity for the nation, so I didn't think it was inconvenient. I thought it was important that we all supported it. But it was obviously it was a very challenging campaign, and unfortunately it wasn't successful. Now, in terms of Aboriginal cultural heritage, we believed that we could make simple and effective changes to the Legacy Act in relation to this to achieve the outcomes that we needed to. The new Act, I think, confused, concerned people, and as a result of that, we took decisive action to make sure that we can move on to ensure that we continue to protect Aboriginal cultural heritage in Western Australia.
Do you regret that the cultural land heritage laws at the time was at the same time as The Voice, even though it's separate, and even people in the opposition acknowledge that it is separate? For the public, it's sort of gelled together.
Well, I think it's important to note that the Aboriginal Cultural Heritage Act legislation was being consulted and put in place by Ben Wyatt and Mark McGowan. So some years ago, it passed in early 2021. So it's been a long time since the Act actually passed Parliament. When I came to the role of Premier, we were obviously we're at that stage where we're about to implement it. I think it struggled in relation to the consultation around the implementation processes. And as a result of that, I thought it was important that we make the decision to move back to the original Act so that we can continue to protect Aboriginal cultural heritage, but at the same time ensure that we're addressing the concerns of the community.
Have you built on Mark McGowan's achievements?
Well, Mark McGowan obviously was a giant in terms of his leadership of this state. He repaired the budget and he kept the economy strong. That's a legacy that I intend to take forward, making sure we keep the economy strong and assist those who are doing it tough. And so higher interest rates are impacting on people's lives in terms of the cost of living. We want to make sure that we use the opportunity that's come from protecting the state's finances and having a strong budget position to assist those people.
Now, looking forward to the achievements of 2024. Now, first, the main part of the interview, and that is the priorities for the new year. What are the top 4 priorities?
Well, obviously, we need to continue to keep the economy strong. We want to make sure that we are constantly working on and creating WA jobs, giving people the opportunities for rewarding jobs in sustainable communities. At the same time, we want to continue to make sure that we assist people with the cost of living for those people who are doing it tough. We need to continue to increase the availability of housing. And we are throwing everything at it to make sure that we increase the housing stock, which provides more opportunities for people. And we need to continue to make sure that we are providing great schools, world-class hospitals, and keeping the community safe. And they'll remain my priorities for 2024.
So what about cost of living? Is it one of your priorities too?
Absolutely. As I said, there are a lot of people doing it tough. We've already made important inroads in terms of assisting people with the cost of living. That's the electricity credit arrangement, $200 going to people's accounts this month. In addition to that, we've kept the cost of public transport down through our two-zone fare system, as well as creating the summer of free public transport. We're continuing to make sure we help those who are struggling in the rental market through assistance to renters, seeing how we can continue to make sure that kids can continue to enjoy organised sport through our $300 kids sport arrangements. So a number of things we're constantly looking at. And of course, our regional airfares provides a significant opportunity for people in regional Western Australia to be assisted.
So on housing, why is there no mass housing building programs like a lot of other cities do?
Well, we are certainly increasing the amount of housing under construction, particularly social housing. And under Minister Carey, we've seen a significant number, I think around about 1,000 homes under construction today. So that's an important part of increasing social and affordable housing in the community. In Western Australia, we don't have the big building companies that are used to doing the large multi-storey, multi-dwelling units, but we are working with industry to see what the opportunities are, particularly around our Metronet hubs, where we want to see a good density so that people can not only benefit from housing, but also benefit from a great world-class public transport system.
Is public housing towers the thing of the past or not really?
Well, I think we need...
Because if you build it with hubs, like in many other cities do, you've got a transit station, got a few blocks above, that's very standard.
It's about having a blend. So you need social and affordable housing to be blended into people who own their units and from other parts of the community. I think if you do these things in isolation of each other, you risk degrading the community but at the same time, if all you're doing is creating dwellings for people who can afford them, you're missing the opportunity to assist those that are doing it tough. So it's about creating a blend and a mix of housing options.
So the main thing about Barrel Zemplis, it's a bit of an unofficial opposition leader now. He's going to run him really hard. Sections of the media are really backing him now in 2025. Do you accept that the diocese has been loaded against you from the get-go?
No, my focus is on providing great government for the people of Western Australia, making sure that we keep the economy strong, keeping local jobs, making sure that we provide great schools and world-class health.
Are you concerned that he's going to be very disruptive to the campaign, given the media? So some sections of the media is on his side.
Well, we continue to make sure that we stay humble, that we listen to the community, and we provide great government. We're not going to be distracted by what's happening in other political parties. We are going to ensure that we continue to provide great government for the people of Western Australia. And that should be our focus, and that's what people want us to focus on.
On these 4 dot points that you've laid out, how are you going to measure the success of it and how you'll be held accountable to it?
Well, obviously, we want to make sure that people have got jobs. That's fundamental for them participating in community and providing them with an opportunity to raise families. So we will continue to make sure we create great WA jobs, and we have one of the lowest unemployment rates in Western Australia today. We are continuing to improve in our healthcare system, so we're doing record number of elective surgeries Ambulance ramping is being reduced significantly. We've got the best hospital system in Australia today. And of course, our schools will continue to make sure that they provide opportunities for young people, not only to get the jobs of today, but to make sure they receive the jobs of the future. And our TAFE system, particularly our free TAFE courses, which have benefited over 30,000 Western Australians, it's an important part of making sure that we as government are doing what we must to ensure that everyone can continue to live in the greatest state of Australia and can live in rewarding jobs in sustainable communities.
I look forward to see what 2024 holds, and thank you very much for your time today, Premier.
Have a great Christmas and a very happy and safe New Year.
That was Premier Roger Cook addressing the upcoming challenges for 2024.
As you've heard earlier, the economy, housing and cost of living, health and education are the Cook government's key focus for the new year. But can the goals be achieved before the 2025 election? Here is Peter Kennedy with his analysis.
A lot can happen in 1 year, and 12 months ago Roger Cook wouldn't have thought that he'd be Premier of Western Australia. But with Mark McGowan's surprise resignation, Roger Cook's in the hot seat, and 6 or 7 months into the top job, he's got a few problems, and he's rightly identified some of them. One of them is living costs, particularly for families, and inflation is an issue federally, we know that, but particularly in the West, it is an issue because of strong population growth. And strong population growth means strong demand, demand and supply, that pushes up prices, and so inflation has been an issue, and living costs have reflected that inflation. So that is a big issue for the state government, and voters will be looking at the way the government's handling household taxes and charges to keep their living costs under control. A big challenge for Roger Cook, which he has rightly identified. Another challenge for Mr Cook, 6 or 7 months into the job and 15 months away from an election. A big challenge is accommodation, and again, pushed by strong population growth, accommodation. Affordable housing is an issue. Public sector housing has not been meeting demand, and a lot of people are experiencing great difficulties with homelessness being a problem right around the state, not just in the metropolitan area. So that's an issue that he's got to grapple with. Also, of course, law and order, particularly in regional centres and particularly in the north of the state. It's a big issue for the police, and the government has to deal with it. And now the government comes under criticism, or Western Australia comes under criticism, for a high rate of Aboriginal youths in detention, and the government has to come to terms with that. But the juvenile detention centre, that's been an issue. The view is that the government is not on top of it at this stage. So that's another challenge for Roger Cook. I mentioned health. Very important. Not only waiting lists in public hospitals, but also with regard to ramping emergency departments. This is an issue, and not just in the metropolitan area. Again, in country centres. So they're the sorts of things that the government has to deal with as it goes through 2024, leading up to that election. Now, the sleeper for Mr Cook is who's going to be his major opponent when election time comes round. Will it be Libby Mettam, opposition leader, or will it be Basil Zemplis, the Lord Mayor of Perth, who is tipped to make a move into state politics sometime during 2024, with a seat of Churchlands being mentioned as the way that he will do that. Now, there's been a lot of friction between the Lord Mayor and the government, and there's been little point scoring going on over perhaps domestic violence and refuge centres for domestic violence victims, all those sorts of things. There's been a lot of toing and froing, tit for tat. So the competition between Mr Zemplis and Mr Cook is already underway, but will it be formalised during 2024? That's the big question, and not only that question, but how will the Liberals handle it if Mr Zemplis makes a move into state politics, and what will it mean for Libby Bentham, and how will the leadership issue be resolved? So look, they are key issues as we go into 2024. The parties have to select their candidates. That will be a key factor, and a very important for the Liberal Party to select attractive candidates, local candidates, not parachuting favourite sons in or favourite daughters, but good, strong local candidates well qualified to take the fight up to Labor, because the state desperately needs it, and it's a big test for the Liberal Party. So plenty to look forward to over the 2024, and a lot for the major parties to think about as we go into the Christmas and New Year season. And also, signing off, this is my last chat on WAMN News for 2023. Thank you very much for your feedback. It's been absolutely terrific, and I look forward to talking to you again in 2024. Meanwhile, a happy Christmas and a prosperous New Year to all WAMN viewers.
Hi there. Are you looking for a new home or want to refinance your car mortgage to get a better rate? At AA Finance Solutions, we have the expertise and knowledge to help you to find the right loan for your needs and budgets. Contact us today. Let us help you to make your home ownership dream a reality.
AA Finance Solutions, your local mortgage broker.
Opposition leader Shane Love has also responded to Premier Roger Cook's interview this week as the government reveals their targets for the new year. Mr Love told WAMN News that regional WA has missed out on receiving many cost of living measures, labelling the policies as Perth-centric.
Look, what we've heard from the Premier is just more of the same. The more of the same excuse-making we've heard since he's taken over the role. Now, we know that housing has been a huge issue. We know the poor performance of the health system has been a huge issue. We've just seen the Director General of Health depart the scene. We're seeing senior manager after senior manager leaving this government because presumably they can see that nothing's being done to address the issues which are of importance to West Australians, such as the lack of housing, such as the poor health situation, and such as the cost of living. Now, we've heard announcements around free public transport over the holiday period for people in Perth. I'm sure that's very welcome for those people, but nothing for people outside of Perth, and nothing to address the long-term structural problems that we see in terms of the housing shortages.
We would like to emphasise that Mr Love conducted this Zoom interview in a parking spot at a shopping centre where his car was stationary. Now moving on to other top stories of the week, homeowners in Perth Hills are grappling with the aftermath of the Parkerville bushfire. At least 3 homes were lost and numerous sheds and vehicles were destroyed. However, DFS WA reports that no lives were lost. The government attributes the cause of the fire to an accident, stating that a tree fell onto the power lines. Emergency services personnel were commended for their efforts as they battled the fire under extremely difficult conditions.
Yeah, if you look around, the trees are all 10 metres away from the property, so the guys come through from the council and say clear these, so we always clear these. There's sprinklers on the roof, there's sprinklers on the decking, but not at these sort of temperatures. These are like, you know.
Fremantle detectives have charged a man with multiple offences after allegedly evading police, which triggered a car chase. At around 8:30 a.m, officers observed a blue Hyundai i30 which was alleged to be stolen from a home, driving on Gosnells Road West in Maddington. The driver failed to stop when police activated their emergency lights and sirens. Polair soon joined the chase and tracked the Hyundai as it travelled through Maddington and Gosnells. The driver later crashed the car into a bedroom of a home. He alleged to have attempted to flee but was later apprehended. The 18-year-old was charged with multiple offences. He appeared in court earlier this week.
An international youth arts competition is set to take place in Perth in February next year, with applications officially opening this weekend. The Australian International Youth Arts Festival is open to youth applicants in Western Australia, covering categories such as vocal, dance and instrumental performances. The event is supported by the WA Government's Office of Multicultural Interest, and applications are now open to the public. Distinguished judges including Angela Perry, Brendan O'Brien, renowned international music conductor Bing Shu Hu, and several others will evaluate participants. The competition features 3 categories: primary, high school and university. The top 3 applicants in each category will be awarded prizes. The event will be hosted at the St Hilda's Performance Arts Centre in Peppermint Grove on the 17th and 18th of February 2024. Organisers encouraged all interested individuals Organisers encourage all interested individuals to apply by filling the application forms on their social media page.
And now here is Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly medical and news commentary this Christmas weekend.
Hi, thanks for your time and listening to me ranting on about various things, health and politics-wise, over the last year, 2023. Hard to believe that it's gone by so quickly. As we reflect and spend time with family and friends, those people most important to us through the festive season, whatever that means for you, I hope you get a chance to look after yourselves, to look after your body, look after your mind, and to look after others. Those are the important focuses, and we must always remember that if ever there is a final battle between wealth and health, the health is the thing that's the most important for us to be able to enjoy our lives to the fullest and to look after other people in the process. So thanks again to WAMN News and Ivan for all the work that you do to talk about our community and its well-being, because the environment in which we live in is an important contributor to our individual happiness. There's no such thing really as an individual. We all live in a community, and so look after one another. Have a great festive season, great new year, and we'll see you on the other side.
As the festive season begins this weekend, do you know the true meaning of Christmas? Here's Pastor Peter Abetz with a message as the long holiday begins.
With Christmas rapidly approaching, it's good to reflect for a moment on what Christmas is about. The story of a baby born in abject poverty who goes on to become the most influential person in world history is, of course, a story that resonates with all cultures right across the world. And of course, I'm talking about the birth of Jesus Christ, who was born in Bethlehem just over 2,000 years ago in abject poverty, there in the stable in Bethlehem, and he went on to become the most influential person in world history. There's no question about that at all. In fact, Vishal Mangalwadi, an Indian philosopher who grew up in a Hindu context, wrote a book about the book that shaped your world, which explains just how influential Christian thinking has been in shaping society as we know it, particularly Western society. And many people want to forget about what Christmas is about. They want to talk about happy holidays, but that would really be to deny a most significant event in world history. Let's celebrate the fact that it is the birth of Jesus Christ. And we should remember that the reason that Jesus came into the world was to restore us into a relationship with God. That was God's intent, that we would be restored because we had gone our own way. God sent his Son so that through him we could have forgiveness and be restored into relationship with our Heavenly Father. And that changes your life, and when people's lives change, that also then transforms society. And I'd just like to leave you with one verse from the Bible, John 3:16, a very well-known verse. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. Take hold of that. Get hold of perhaps Luke's Gospel. Dust off a Bible if you've got one. Read the first few chapters and recount the story of Jesus' birth. Happy Christmas.
And now here is Leo Puglisi with what's coming up on 6 News this festive season.
Thanks guys. On 6 News we are still here all over the holiday break, so while others go on holidays, we're still here, news on the hour, every hour. We've got the latest breaking news on everything happening. Of course, we've got special coverage of what's going on in Israel and Gaza, and on New Year's Eve we will have live coverage throughout the day as Sydney welcomes in the fireworks, as New Zealand welcomes in a few hours before, as Perth welcomes in, and of course major international cities as well. So all the latest headlines, it's always on 6 News. Watch live on our YouTube channel and our website, 6newsau.com.
Thanks, Leo. So, Ivan, can you believe it? That's our final weekly news and current affairs for 2023. You can catch up with all the latest news on our website at wamnnews.com.au.
Our normal news service will return on the 17th of January 2024, and this program will return on the 21st of January. The WAMN Extra News Club will continue to have articles every weekend during this festive and New Year's holiday. Remember to subscribe to our service to support independent local news and keeping democracy strong. On behalf of Paige, Melly, Dr. Miller, Peter and myself, no matter where you're watching, we wish you Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we send love to those you love.
Thanks for your loyalty this year, and we look forward to bringing you the latest news in 2024. Until then, take care and thanks for watching.